Fine, how are you?
No problem.
All right, we'd like to get started. If you would please silence your phones for the meeting. Community Consolidated School District 168 would like to commence the school board meeting at 6:32 on January 25th, 2016. Please stand for roll call. Roll call, please. Thank you.
Mrs. Campbell Pruitt. I'm present. Mrs. Davenport. Present. Mrs. Green. Mrs. Howard, present. Mrs. Jones. Present. Mr. Casali.
Present.
Mr. Casali.
Present. Thank you. We have a presentation for today.
Yes, we do. No, it's the student doing the pledge. Mrs. Campbell Pruitt is going to talk about that student.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go to the presentation.
Good evening, everyone. The person that's doing our pledge this evening, name is Samantha Swan, and may I read to you what she's presented to us. She says, "Hi, my name is Samantha Swan. I'm in 5th grade at Strasburg School. I have been in the district since I was in 2nd grade. My 2nd grade teacher was Mrs. Mikulski. 3rd grade teacher was Mr. Spires. 4th grade teacher was Mrs. Moore, and my 5th grade teacher is Mr. Raw. My mom and dad are here tonight. My mom's name is Sherry, and my dad's name is Jose. I have 6 siblings. My older brother is Michael, and he is 15. I have 2 other brothers. Jose is 7, and Antonio is 1 year old. Antonio is now learning how to walk. I also have 3 sisters that are younger than me. Angelina is 10 years old, Christina is 8 years old, and Maria is 4 years old. We also have a miniature pincher named Bolt that keeps us all happy and energized. One of my favorite subjects this year is math, because I like doing multi-step problems, and I also like going on the Stride Academy for math. I also enjoy our after-school drama. We are currently practicing for the Black History program, where I will be doing a dance. I also enjoy participating in our STEM Lab Saturday school. Some of the activities that we have done are making bridges, catapults, and working with various states of matter. I also enjoyed reading the pledge in Spanish over the intercom on Fridays. My sister, Angelina, reads the pledge in Spanish every Thursday. I also like being our school manager on duty. For your information, I was the first manager in Strasburg history to be a student manager that helps students with pricing and purchasing school items and Strasburg t-shirts. I also want to say how amazing Mr. Roel has been this year. He always helps me with my work, works with our class on character counts, and our class always had good behavior, earning us a pizza and a popcorn party. Lastly, my teacher is a really fun guy. Thank you for inviting me tonight to read the pledge in English and in Spanish. So we've provided everyone with the pledge in English and in Spanish, and Samantha's going to lead us.
She's coming up today.
Which one are we doing first? English?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Juro fidelidad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios invisible con libertad y justicia para todos.
Where's
Samantha, you did a fantastic job. And as a result, we would like to present to you the certificate of appreciation in recognition of reciting the Pledge of Allegiance in English and Spanish before the Community Consolidated School District 168 School Board. And this is presented to Samantha Swan on this day, January 25th, 2016. And it's signed by your principal, the school board, and the superintendent, Dr. Lee of the School District 168.
All right, I would like to make a motion to go into closed session. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We're now into closed session.
Close session, close session, fall.
Closed se-
All in fall.
for the closed session. Personnel, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance of discipline of a specific employee or the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or illegal counsel for the district to determine its validity. B, litigation when an action against affecting or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed session meeting. And I'd like to take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
We're now in closed session.
Amanda,
We'll be right back. Okay, the Board of Education would like to return back to open session at 7:04. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Davenport,
Yes.
Ms. Green, Ms. Howard, yes. Ms. Jones,
yes.
Mr. Casali,
Yes.
Ms. Charles Pruitt,
Yes.
Mr. Gazoo.
Yes. Thank you. School Board, would like to move to item 7, Section A, presentation of STEM scopes.
So So as we presented to the board, you know, the next generation science standards are out and we're trying to get ready for them. And so we've been piloting STEM scopes in our classrooms. So we invited them to come so that the board could get a chance to see what we're doing to try to get ready for this next generation science standards. So I'm going to introduce that.
We have Marla Borman, who is the representative from STEM Scopes, and she's been very helpful in assisting us in the piloting for our K through 8th grade. We've had our implementation training, which was November 30th, and I believe our pilot ends the middle of February. So we just wanted you to get just a little taste of what STEM Scopes is all about.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Which way do you want me to go? Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of STEM Scopes. Have you ever heard of STEM Scopes before?
Yes.
Yes? So we are a digitally delivered science curriculum. Our main focus is to be hands-on and inquiry-based. So what that means to you as parents, what that means to you as administration is that your students of this district are going to be doing science. You're not going to find students sitting behind a textbook. You're not going to find students sitting behind a computer and doing virtual labs. They're going to actually be engaged in hands-on activities which involve it could be a scientific investigation, they could be an engineering solution, they could be a project-based learning, they could be a science activity, or they could be a research component. All of our activities are dictated by what the NGSS standards are asking us to make sure that our students are having exposure to. And what those activities, the result of those activities, culminating in certain scopes, is the result of mastery. That's our main goal. We want our kids to walk away having a very rigorous, in-depth experience, but while also meeting the next generation science standards goals. So our curriculum is actually built from the ground up to the next generation science standards. There is not another curriculum on the market that has said that. There are a lot on the market that have taken existing curriculums and tried to move things around, but you cannot move things around in order to meet the next generation science standards. They're very different than what we're used to. I was a first and second grade teacher too. Science is scary, especially if that's not a content area of expertise for you. So what STEM Scopes does is it not only prepares the students, but it gives the teachers the necessary tools and information that they need in order to achieve the goals of their students reaching mastery. So with that being said, would you like to get a little taste? I have really short time, so I'm going to be a speed person. So just so you have an idea, I'm sorry that this is on your back. So before I get started, if a teacher is to log on to STEM Scopes, I just pulled up a 5th grade scope. A scope is the same thing as we remember when we were looking at our textbooks. You have a chapter or you have a unit. Ours are called scopes. So all of our scopes look exactly the same whether you teach kindergarten or whether you teach 8th grade. They function exactly the same. We are based on the 5E model. So what that means to you is that our students, or your students, are going to be going through the best practices for teaching science through STEM Scopes. Okay, so they're going to explore and explain, explore and explain, explore, explain many times. And then they're going to be assessed, and they're going to have to evaluate, and they're going to have to be able to prove their understanding through the assessments that STEM Scopes provides. So what we've done is we want to make it easy for the teacher, but we also want to make it engaging and fun for the students. Because what's the first thing that people say, or kids, you hear them say is, oh, why do I need to know this? Right? I said it when I was a student, right? And I know I heard it when I was a teacher too. So we want to make sure they have those 21st century skills. One of the biggest things, one of the biggest complaints about students that are entering STEM fields
is that they don't know how to communicate because they're so used to texting. They're so used to all these electronic things, right? But with STEM scopes, the students are engaged in cooperative learning, they're collaborating, they're arguing, which is a good thing because they have to stand behind their decisions. Okay, so we want our students of today and tomorrow to be able to communicate what they know. So with STEM scopes, this is what it looks like, and we are based on the 5E, but we adapted what's called the IDEA model. So that's the illuminate, the do, expand, assess. The support is, now we have an S on the end of IDEA, okay? So we're a teacher, from a teacher perspective, everything she needs or he needs in order to teach this lesson on mixtures is in this home spot. So everything's in one place for them. They don't have to spend time Googling, okay? Just give me a time back when I have 2 minutes left. Okay. The illuminate section is where you're going to access their prior knowledge and you're going to find out what do they know, what do they not know, what kind of misconceptions do they have. We were having a wonderful conversation about students and how hard it is as a teacher to sit back and let the mistakes happen. That's what inquiry is all about. They have to figure it out on their own with your guidance and facilitation to come up with the right answer so then they can stand behind their decisions and their answers. And that's what that illuminate does, is to find out what they know. And in the do section, that's where the kids are going to be really engaged and excited. If you walk into a classroom in this district that's doing STEM scopes, you're not going to see them sitting. They're going to be up and about, and they're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. It's really exciting, and it's not quiet. Is it quiet? Okay, good. So, I hope it's not quiet. So I'll just show you really quick what is scientific from a teacher perspective. Really quickly, we give them what the students are. We give you a description of what the activity is about, the materials you're going to need, how much of everything you're going to need, how to prepare. But what's really critical is there's so many new things, different essential parts of teaching that we may need a little, as a teacher, we may need to have some reinforcements or we may need to have some guidance. There's a lot of new things in NGSS that we're not used to doing. So what we have also incorporated in here is professional development is built into the curriculum. It's always there if they need to refer to it, and it takes you to an external page, part of STEM scopes, but these are all the things that are embedded within the curriculum at their fingertips. So they never have to be alone, okay? As a teacher, we don't want to be on an island, right? So, unless it's sunny. Then you have, one of the things that we also do, and I really just want to show you this one quick thing, is we want to make it easy for them to understand how the activity is going to look. So this is called a setup video. So we show them what is the activity going to look like. What are they going to need?
If you mix sugar and water, what happens to the sugar? Look, chemical changes. Students are introduced to chemical changes as they attempt to clean the rust off of metal objects. For this activity, students will need the following printout.
So as you can see, it's verbatim. What do they need? We're not going to show that to the students because that takes away from the inquiry, right? So, but we're going to enhance their experience, the students' experience, not only with their hands-on activities, but we're going to enhance it with, for instance, science rock songs. This is taking vocabulary. We give them the words to the vocabulary, but we put the vocabulary to a song. That's very impactful, especially for those types of learners. I know that I used to put, let me look here for a second. It's very snappy. It'll get stuck in your brain.
Mixtures we can pull apart if we want to separate.
So do you think the students would remember that one statement just from that? I can tell you, I had this when I was learning, I honestly put everything to a song. It's the only way I can remember anything. So they have that. There's all kinds of things to make this experience not just focusing on science, because let's face it, science, there's so much more to science than just science, right? So there's reading components. So we have also aligned to Common Core reading. We've also aligned to Common Core math. We also have in here the Science Today, we have an agreement with Associated Press. So they're talking about current events. We have an Explain Communicate. This section here is fantastic. That takes in that 21st century skill. So they could have a debate, or they could have an oral presentation, or they could have an argument that you have to come up with a reason to support those things. So there's lots of things that they can do outside of these actual activities here. Web surfing science brings you to external sites, but there are safe sites. We've booked them, marked them into our curriculum itself. We bring in the content area of science. So of course you can't have science without content, right? So we bring in what's called the STEMcopedia. There's also a parent connection piece, so then the students can bring that home, or you can assign that to the parents too, so they always know what are their students doing, or what are their children doing in science this whole week and a half to 3 weeks. Okay? Linking literacy allows you to use your closed reading strategies as well. So that's really important in making it cross-curricular. I could go on and on, I get so excited. So I'm just going to show you a quick video. We have an agreement with Twig Video. This is normally a paid subscription. But what we've done is we've got over 1,800 Twig videos for these students to pull up at any time when their teacher assigns it to them.
Can you spot the chemical reactions?
And we have what's called a companion piece that goes along with it. These are all very short. They could be anywhere from 3 minutes to 15 minutes at the most. They can watch them at home. This can go across any device, whether it's a cell phone, an iPad, or a Chromebook, anything. They can pull them up from anywhere. And I want to close with, we always have to assess, right? So not only have you been formatively assessing your students throughout the entire scope, but then you have your summative assessments, which is a CER, which is very prominent, as we know, in NGSS, so it's in our curriculum as well. We have multiple choice, open-ended responses, and then of course there's intervention. There are going to be students that aren't quite getting it, but research shows that if they're not understanding the concepts because they don't have that foundational background of the vocabulary. So this section hones in on vocabulary through concept attainment quizzes and independent practice. Okay, so really quickly to close it up, I've talked a lot about what we do, but what's most important is we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of the standards. So the standards, the teacher always knows what standard they're working on, what cross-cutting concept, what DCI they're going to be working on, because it's plainly stated right here for them, and it's always at their fingertips. Okay? And with that being said, I could go on and on and on, but I'm on a time limit. So, do you have any questions that I can answer for you?
Great job, by the way.
Great job.
Question?
Yeah,
I love questions.
Is this a mandate by the state STEM school?
I wish, but it's not. No, the Next Generation Science Standards, yes, Illinois adopted the Next Generation Science Standards, and so we are a curriculum that can meet the needs of those standards.
What's the cost of this?
I have it, it is $5.25 per student for the digital curriculum. For the K through 5, it is $5.95 for 6 through 8. We do have printed materials because even though it's digitally delivered, you don't have to be one-to-one, or maybe that student isn't conducive to learning that way. So we have the printed materials books as well. So these are available. And then we had a wonderful conversation about the needs, because it's hands-on, we need to have materials, right? So our kits are I'll go really fast. Our kits are really easy to use. They come in a bin, and all the teacher has to do, this is a scope for sound, a first grade sound activity. Everything the teacher needs to do the sound scope, which lasts anywhere from a week and a half to 3 weeks, is in this bag. Equipment is not in the bag, like scales, but we have those. Okay, so they pull out the bag, and they have this for the whole week and a half, 3 weeks, depending on how long the scope is. They use the usables, the consumables. They put the reusables back in the bag for the following year. Then the next year, to replenish the consumables, it's just a third of the price of the consumable, or of the whole kit. So, Does that answer your
Who
question?
are your customers now, and they trial period for this?
We have been in a trial period for a while before Christmas. So that's why we're going till, because I wanted to extend it since the Christmas break was in there. So they have it until the middle of February. So they've been using it. They've been trying it. And we've got some great anecdotal information about their experiences with STEM scopes so far. And then as far as districts, I'm not familiar with this, Sarah, but I can tell you districts that have it. How's that?
Yes.
So Halos 118 has adopted it K through 8. Lake Villa has adopted it K through Lake Villa. Chicago Public Schools has adopted it for their STEM schools.
Chicago Public School?
Yes,
Because they have so many, they have the
Kirby
magic.
Johnson. What's that?
They have so many schools there.
They do. They put it into
Which
12 so far of their STEM schools.
All these schools or some of them?
It's some
Just some of them.
STEM
STEM schools.
STEM schools?
Mhm.
Oh, because I know it's not in all
Oh,
of them.
I know it's not yet. Not
And
yet.
now
We're working
that-
on it.
Probably the state of Illinois is going to take over. How do you feel about that?
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we think that.
We'll chat over coffee. How's that?
Thank you.
Your bags for the kits, for how many students per class is that?
For K through 5, it covers 25 students. For 6 through 8, it covers 32 students.
32 students.
Mhm.
And the consumables, what is you said there was a cost for it annually for each kit, like what's the cost for
Yeah.
the replenishing the consumables?
I believe, did I put it in your packet? I hope I was smart. Yes, I did. Can I borrow you?
Of course.
Okay, so to give you, they range in price. For kindergarten, it's $550 for one hands-on kit that covers the, I'm mistaken, 24 students for the whole year, for one kindergarten classroom. Now, for the following year, the consumable refill kits are $350 to replenish.
Okay.
I quickly looked at the kit as you were holding it up.
Sure.
And whereas I could not see all of the consumables, I do see some of them, and one that I'm looking at is a paper plate,
Yep,
plastic roll,
yep.
tape.
Mhm.
Would we be able to replenish
Yes.
the kit ourselves rather than going through it?
Most definitely, we had the exact conversation. And the reason why is that we did that in a purposeful way. We did not want to use or designate hands-on materials that are things that you can't get somewhere at Target or Michael's or a grocery store. We want to make it as easy as possible so that if you don't have our kits, it's still easy to get them. We give you the list. So if you go under the home screen, because this is where the teacher finds all her stuff, essentially, we give you a material list. We have a master's material list that shows what you're going to need in order to do the activities. So for instance, this scope, mixtures, is going to need, if I were to put in how many students in this grade level, let's say there's, I don't know, 125 total students in this grade level, and your class size is 24, and your number of groups are 6, and your number of classes are, I don't know, 6. I'm just pulling a number. As I'm doing that, that's populating here. So the nice thing is, you know exactly what you need at all times. We just make it easy with our kids, so you don't have to go to the grocery store, or go to Michael's, or go and try to find everything. We were having that conversation earlier, that it sometimes can be, it's difficult, you just have to plan. You just have to plan. Does that answer your question?
And the teachers, they have their own personal accounts to STEM scopes, correct? So they
Yes.
can do the tutorials at home.
Yes.
So over the summer, they can train themselves on the particular lessons that they're going to do throughout the year.
Correct.
So when they come in, they can order it.
And we do have implementation training, because in order to have a successful program for your school, you need to make sure the teachers are trained appropriately. She was, Mrs. Patterson was able to come into the training session, which was, what did you think?
Yes, it was great.
It was great. So But we take a lot of pride in making sure that our teachers, when we leave that session, that they are well equipped to go in and be able to implement that into their classrooms. And then on top of that, we offer follow-up training as well.
That's what I was about to ask. So the follow-up trainings, I know you have that initial implementation.
Mhm.
So when you get new staff, is there a cost associated with that, or is that just part of the general agreement? Or?
Well, what we provided initially was what was called trial or pilot implementation training. Then what we recommend, if you adopt it, that we give you the full implementation training, so we can go into great detail, we can help you plan. There's a lot involved in that full implementation training, and that covers 50 teachers. 3 hours is $900. For 6 hours, it's $1,800. But including with that, you get the full 2 follow-up webinars. But I'm not a big fan of webinars, so no one else will come in. It's true.
So the follow-up trainings, after you do the initial training, follow-up, do you do like a train-the-trainer training where
We can.
have
We did
local
have that
experts,
format.
so we can have them train our newer staff?
That's what we did with Chicago Public Schools, is we did a train-the-trainer situation.
Okay.
Like instructional coaches and what have you, so they're armed with that information, and then they can share that out.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
The training, is it on site or is at your?
It's on site.
Will you come to us?
We come to you.
Okay.
She's really awesome, my local trainer. Yeah.
Okay, we'll be thinking about it.
Okay. Did I say another question back here? No?
Thank you
My
very much.
eyes were seeing me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you so much for having me.
So, just if you remember last month, because we're trying to get our curriculum up to speed, and last month we shared out the pilot for Eureka Math. Our math committee's been working, and we're piloting that, and then we're piloting STEM scopes. So prior to us coming to the board to request any approvals or adoption, we want to make sure you know this is what our teachers have been working. We've been piloting. We've done the research to say what do we want to try out. We're trying it out before we come to the board for adoption. So that's what this is. So right now we're piloting STEM scopes.
All right. Item B, any comments?
Yes, sir. The board concludes. First one, Saturday school, I mentioned a few months ago, the STEM Academy that was being done in Strasburg. It was just 3 through 5. And this last Saturday, they opened it up so the kindergartners through the 8th grade had an opportunity to go and they had, like, from my understanding, 80 students to attend. And when I was out there, you saw kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and they were so excited. And my children personally, I have a first grader and a 5th grader were there. And before they can even close the car door, they both were excited about what they had learned. And my son was like, Mommy, see, I told you I was going to be a building worker and an engineer. And it just, so it got the excitement going. And I was so glad that I'm hoping we can keep that up and kind of expand that out. I think that would be really great because the children really are enjoying it on a Saturday at 8 o'clock in the morning until 12, but they're wanting to go. My second statement is to remind everyone, if you can please save your bottle caps like these if you can, and these tabs off your pop cans for Wagner School because we need as many as possible. We're trying to get a bench that we can put out in the play yard so that they can go outside and read to the children. So I'm always promoting that people sitting near me, I take their caps. Also, in front of me, I have 2 letters that I take issue with. I'm not going to go into detail with because I want to leave that for my board president to handle, but I have to make a comment because it's sitting in front of me. On both pages, there's a sentence that says, we also encourage the students to work on their own and put a lot of thought into this project for Student Government Day and for Village Stickers, and I kind of take offense that this is dated January 21st for the manner of which that has been presented and spoken out, and we're trying to work with our village, and they are, the way they have spoken against our staff, our students, and us as an administration, and we work very hard, and I am no longer in support of what they're doing at this time because of the offense and the disrespect that they've shown and accusations that have been made publicly
without giving our school district a chance to know what's going on and to work out a situation. My last comment is for the month of February and March. This is my formal notice that I will be absent physically, and I will be conferencing in on those 2 board meetings. Well, I'm going to try February, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do the conference. I will let you know if I can conference, but definitely I'll be able to conference in on March. And I am doing the absence and the conference under the board policy guidelines for the reasons that you can have those absences. Thank you.
Mr. Sauk?
Thank you. I think that on Tuesday when I was at the village board meeting, I probably made some people very upset because what's going on in the village, for those who doesn't live here, is that the people in the village is not happy with what's going on with the village, with how the village is being run. So therefore, there was 652 petitions that was about a no confidence in the administration of Sauk village government. And Jimoh Kasali is the one that notarized, because I'm a notary. I've been a notary for more than 20 years. I notarized those petitions. So some people were very upset. And then I was there saying if there is problems, we have to solve it. And I introduced myself. I've been living in the village for so long. Right now, I heard that the FBI is investigating the village. There's mismanagement going on. There's 2 groups that said that they don't like what's going on with the village. That's how they got those petitions, because the village is mingling money that they're not supposed to. We have to get the story, please. Over $900,000 is missing. That's why they are insulting our teachers that they are not teaching the kids right. The principals are not doing this. Talking about all the staff of District 168. People that know me, I always stand up for each and everybody. Whatever is right, I'm on your side. If you're wrong, I will say something about that. That is what I do. So for the village trustees or whoever it is there, after I left, start saying things that I did not say. All of these things you can see on the Facebook. I just heard that today. I wasn't prepared for them, but I will be prepared for them tomorrow. Because I don't take BS from anybody. And I know people. I belong to NAACP, I belong to Lions Club, I know people. And if anybody wants to bring a fight on with Jimoh Kasali, I am ready. Whoever it is with the village, I'm ready for all of you. And I'm going to stand up for all the staff of District 168. And next time I come to the meeting, I will bring all the things that they've been saying about the board members and superintendent and everybody else, that we're not doing a good job. Everybody, every time they come here to ask us for money. Oh, what are you doing sitting on $20-something million? What are you doing? Now they're coming tonight asking for $100. Every time they have student government, I write a check from JK Insurance to give them. And all of that. I don't take no insult from anybody. And I behave myself and I do what is right. And I'm going to stand up for District 168. Tomorrow I will be there. We're going to see what's going to happen at your meeting.
Any other comments? Well, to add on to that, tomorrow I will be present at the meeting.
I'm there to support you.
To express our discontent with some of the comments that were made about our children, our staff, our administration, our district as a whole. I'm not in favor of somebody coming into my backyard and dictating to us how we should run our business. The village runs their business how they see fit, whether it's proper or not, that is their concern. However, We run our business here. We like to keep our business here. We don't interfere with what they do. We don't comment on what they do. But when it comes to our children, I do not like them to be insulted, humiliated, and disrespected in a public forum. I would hope that other boards would give us the common respect or decency to come to us if they have an issue and discuss it with us so we can address those things in a proper forum. However, that did not happen. I will express my discontent with that to them tomorrow, and I will report back to the board after that as to what their response was or was not. And we will take action going forward depending on any actions or responses that they give or do not give. So I will end my comment on that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I must confess, I was not there on Tuesday when comments were made. However, on Wednesday, there was a town hall meeting, and I couldn't hold my tongue. Because it was brought out again, our test scores and a lot of other things that were stated. And for me, I think Dr. Leak has been very open and honest in putting out what our test scores were. It's just a shame that none of them are ever present to hear the things that we are sharing now. So I did make a comment, and I apologize to my board for not getting approval or giving heads up, but I couldn't hold my tongue because I have a child in that school, and when you speak about one, you speak about all. When you talk about my board, you talk about me, you talk about my entire board. And I think we have done a great job at being open and honest and taking efforts to enhancing our students' learning. So, my personal opinion.
In addition, we did have a conference call that was orchestrated by Vice President Pruitt for members of the village board to attend. I was present, so was the principal of the junior high, our superintendent, Ms. Pruitt. Ms. Davenport was also present. I think that was it, right? But there was no representation from the village on the conference call, which they requested in short notice. We were polite enough to accommodate them, however, they weren't respectful enough to attend. So, just wanted to make that as a note to those of you. I know some of you might not know exactly what was said. It's not necessary to repeat the things that were said because they're quite disgraceful, especially for the positions that they hold. We all here are voters for this village, and I would think that they would have enough respect for the members of the village to not disrespect their children. That is the part that finds me so angry, because they're 12, 13, and 14-year-olds. We do not disgrace them in the public forum. That is not commendable.
I yield to her.
Thank you, sir. I am going to give my report in a little bit. However, I would like it stated for the record that even though 3 of us were on the call, only 2 of us participated. The other person only took notes. Sharon Davenport only took minutes. That's okay. That be for the record.
And she's saying that because of the Open Meetings Act, however, the discussions weren't about board business. It was about the situation that took place at another meeting in another forum. So it did not discuss board business whatsoever, so we did not violate the Open Meetings Act whatsoever. That's what she said.
Yeah, Mr. President, I just wanted to add that since this is not on the agenda, what I'm going to say, we are government here. We do not have to send our children to the village to have student government. They've never done that here. So maybe next month, we should stop that from going over there. We can take care of that here. They can represent us. We should put a stop to this. In addition, for the record, in March, I will not be here because I'm going home again for family matters. So please make a note of it. I'm going in the middle of March. I'll be back at the end. I have to go to London, go to Dublin, go to Nigeria, because now I'm the head of my household. I got to get things together. So yes, that's it. Thank you.
Any more comments?
Excuse me, do I have to wait till public comment to rebut some of that?
This
My
is-
daughter's in
yeah,
the emergency
this is-
room. I'm
This
just
is
telling
school
you
board,
that.
this is school board comments.
No,
Okay.
There's a general.
No,
purpose.
there's no
Okay.
report.
C, are there any correspondence? No. Correspondence? D, general board discussion. I'd like to present for the joint annual conferences. I won't go into all the conferences that I attended. The one I mainly want to talk about is the strategic planning conference that I went to during the conference. It was about how school districts prepare themselves for the future by having a strategic plan in place. I did contact our superintendent and asked them for our strategic plan and took a look at it and reviewed it. However, it's in need of review or revision. What a strategic plan is for a district, it determines the vision of the district in the eyes of all the stakeholders, and that means the parents, the businesses, the school boards, the students, the teachers, everyone who takes part in the education of our children. So what I'm proposing is that we create a strategic planning committee to provide some vision, some direction for our future. So future construction projects, future education of our students, similar to STEM scopes. So what do we want our district to look like? What that strategic plan does, it gives a roadmap for the superintendent to follow, to direct our school district in. So I would like to create that committee, and those of you who wish to volunteer to be part of that committee, I welcome you. I would like to welcome any business owners or parents that want to participate, administrators, teachers that want to participate in the strategic plan, because I want it to be a collaborative effort. So when we put this plan in place, that everybody has buy-in, because their thoughts, their concerns is within the plan. Their vision is within the plan. I've always said that I like collaboration. I stand by that, and I'm going to continue to do that. If you can send your emails, addresses to those of you who would like to volunteer for the strategic plan committee, direct them to Dr. Leek, and then I will find a date for us to meet, and then we can proceed for our meeting, for our first meeting, so we can try to do the strategic plan. It is a process. I'll present what the process looks like to the committee on the first date. I'll also present it for a couple of meetings afterwards, so that everybody who's new to the committee would know exactly what direction we're going to. It is going to be a lengthy process, but I think it's work that's well worth it for the committee, so for the future of our children. So that's pretty much all my presentation. Yes, sir.
I would suggest that maybe you invite the community as well to be part of your committee, to have some input on that. Maybe they can get some news out.
Right. I was going to ask Dr. Lee to put out a blast to the business owners, the parents, so they can take part into the strategic planning committee.
Great.
So I was just informing the people here right now about what we're planning, but however in the future we are going to make that communication out there. Yes, ma'am.
That sounds wonderful. I would like to be a part of that committee.
Yes, just like if you want to be part of the committee, just direct your, inform Dr. Leek. She will make a list of those who want to be part of the committee. And once I get that full list, we'll probably do it after the blast period, like a couple of weeks. And then make a blast appearance. And then once you think we have an ample sample of the entire community, then we'll set a date. But it's probably a month away, just so we can make sure we get enough responses. Okay? All right. And that is my presentation for the strategic.
Yeah, Mr. President. When I'm brewing, I like to get everything out. I don't like to take anything with me home, because the people of the village really made me very upset. They forget to realize that this position that we've been taking here I've been here more than 8 years. They have meeting, if we allow them, they will have meeting every day, because the meeting they have, they get paid. We don't get paid a dime for coming here. And we're doing all this job, and they are insulting us and our children and our teachers and superintendent like this. I know I'm a little out of order, but I just need to get it out. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I appreciate your passion.
I would just like, I'm not gonna take a long time, but I just wanted to share, when I was at the conference in November, I think the most favorite part for me was going on the bus tour, and I wanted to do it, ever since I came on the board, but I never thought, you know, I probably shouldn't do this. But it was so nice to go because I chose the younger grades because I, as a teacher, work with young children, and as a teacher, you can never get enough ideas for your classroom. But it was amazing. We started off with breakfast, and then they gave us a full backpack. At first, I was like, "This is so cool! I get a backpack!" But it was for the students that we were going to. I was confused. It was for the students they were going to, and we were going to be able to give them each a backpack. And I mean, it was full of stuff. I even looked in it, so. Then I found out it wasn't for us, and I was like, "No." But anyway, no, I was glad to be able to do it. When we got there, they took us in the gym. And it's called Skinner West, or just Skinner? Skinner. And they had a beautiful presentation. The students, they played for us different instruments. Each class had participated in performing for us. They spoke in different languages. They did all kinds of stuff. And then after they had us there, they took us to the library and they gave us some refreshments and everything. And the teachers talked to us for a little bit, and the principal. And for me, the best, I loved all of it, but at the end, they allowed us to go into the classrooms. Well, of course, I want to go in the pre-K classroom because I work with 3- and 4-year-olds. But then I find out it's not even in their building. I'm like, what? I want to go to the pre-K class. So what happened was, it was probably like 5 minutes down the road. They're off-site, and so there was another lady there that wanted to go to it. So we walked there. And it was amazing because they are doing things in their classrooms. You know, some of it I was already doing, but I was able to use in our classroom where I work. And they also have the director of special education there, which I got to speak with her. I don't remember her name. But she's doing, of course, she thought I was part of the decision makers, and she's like, "Just so you know, you need to go back." And I was like, wait, I don't make the decisions. So anyway, but it was very exciting, very informative, and I really enjoyed the conference, and I did a lot of other things, but that was my highlight of the conference for November.
Thank you so much. Any other people want to comment on the conference?
We did last month.
All right, thank you. If not, we're going to move to item 7, committees and delegate reports. Finance, Ms. Howard, Ms. Cook.
We met this evening, and we have, as of January 21st, the vouchers awaiting payment for our district is $450,511.50. And our balance as of November is $16,036,960.61. And there were a few questions about the payables, but one of the things that came up in the discussion tonight was, you know, what happens when the district pays for a board member to go to an organized event and then they don't show up. And I kind of vaguely remember in the past that it was a discussion, but it was only ever a discussion, like, I don't know if it needs to have a policy in place so that the district is not out of money. It might be good to visit this at a later time, but it's important because if the district is paying for a board member to go to an event, they really should go to the event because there's no getting that money back once you've paid for it. The district is out of the payment. So it doesn't have to be tonight, but we need to revisit this. And that concludes my report.
Item B, scope. Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions?
Yeah. No, I've been saying that this we'll be able to do something about it. So,
Okay. Item B, scope.
Ms. Green is not here, but she asked if I would report out in her stead. So the Sauk Council meeting was today, and a couple of items to mark on your calendars, board members. The Sauk Spring Dinner will be April 27th, 2016. So it's April 27th, and hopefully it will be at the Silver Lake Club. Country, yeah. And then some of the items that were discussed today, Peg Agnos was there and she gave a report out that created a great deal of controversy. As you may or may not know, right now, the ISB just released their fiscal year 2017 budget recommendation. And one of the budget recommendations that they have is in order to fully fund us at the foundation level is to move the special education categoricals, is to zero out that line item. And basically, it's $300 million that they're talking about zeroing out that line item and putting that money into general state aid so that everybody would reach their foundation levels. So, and clearly it's the very beginnings of any kind of budget conversation. So what we expressed to PEG was on February 10th is the next meeting of the Illinois State Board of Education. And so we said, you know, for districts like ours that are heavily reliant on general state aid, that's great, we'll get more general state aid, but then I lose my special ed dollars. And part of the issue that we had was the maintenance of effort, because a lot of times districts struggle with maintaining their maintenance of effort, and then you get penalized, and these are federal flow-through dollars. So there was a lot of questions that we gave her to take as a lobbyist for Sauk to go back to the Illinois State Board. And we don't know, we understand in principle that you're trying to give districts money who need the money, but you can't do it necessarily in the backs of special education students. And it's not just special ed, but it's you've got bilingual students in there. There's a variety of populations of students that are in those dollars that they're trying to zero out. So, so some of the suggestions that actually came from the Sauk today was, how about let's come up with some new sources of revenue that would go towards schools that are heavily reliant on general state aid. So, as you know, this year the budget that was passed was prorated at 92%, and then there was that roughly $80 million that was disseminated amongst districts we were number 8 on the list. So we were able to access additional dollars to make up our general state aid. But at the same time, there's a lot of conversation about, as they say, robbing from Peter to pay Paul. If you've got this one pot of money and you're shuffling it around, that's not helping us. So that was a big conversation. The other conversation was about the CPI. And as you know, our final CPI for 2015, which the years that the taxes are paid is 2017, was 0.7%. This is the second lowest CPI in 24 years. Last year it was 0.8%. The only other times that it's been this low was in 2008 when the recession hit. So they talked about what CPI is looking like, how that's impacting school districts, how that will impact our capacity to collect taxes and what that might look like in 2017 in our budget. Then the other thing, it was a pretty lengthy meeting. The other thing is we got a business legal update from John Izzo from Hauser and Izzo, and basically he reviewed some of the changes in taxing for this upcoming school year that will impact as we get ready to do budget for fiscal year 17. So I will keep the board updated. I just got all these documents today, and so we'll be doing just a brief sort of summary in the weekly update, and then make sure that you have copies, even though mine's all marked up, but make sure you have copies of it so that you know what's going on. But I will say Sauk is definitely on top of making sure that the Illinois State Board hears what we have to say, but also partnering with other organizations, because it's not just Sauk, you've got the IESA, you've got Vision 2020, so there's a lot of groups out there that are lobbying and pulling in different directions. Oh, and here's the other part that was interesting. they wanted to zero out the categorical for special at $300 million, but there's a new line item in the budget to restore $300,000 to the state authorized charter schools for special education. So needless to say, we're back on it in Springfield once again.
Is that even legal?
Well, here's the questions that we had is, for the state board is, what would be the provisions to ensure that, let's say we get the additional money, but now I can't make my maintenance of effort, because I still have to provide special education for children, it's the law. So, in early childhood or bilingual services, so our position was that maybe they didn't fully understand what it would mean, because apparently this was from the governor, was looking at the budget. Basically, the budget for the Illinois State Board of Education, the largest single line item chunk that was in there that was not GSA, was this mandated categorical for special ed at $300 million. And so their contention was, let's zero that out and spread that out so that everybody has money. And so that was part of why we're saying 2 weeks from now they have another meeting, and we're saying go in and let's remind them of, you've got MO issues, you've got federal funding, so there's a whole slew of issues surrounding those mandated categoricals.
Does he know what the word mandated means? I mean, my concern is that they're looking at these as widgets. They don't understand the restrictions that we have, the requirements that we have, and they're,
Well, it is a proposal, so I'm making you aware as the board. And I also just want to say, the other piece for the spring dinner, the theme of this spring dinner is going to be helping our school board members work with our legislators in Springfield. So it's going to be helping to make sure that you all have avenues, like if we're calling them in or if we're having town hall meetings and we're having it with our legislators who are in Springfield who have to vote on some of these items that come to them.
can we have some legislator come to like a scope meeting and try to give us some kind of rationale as to why they're thinking like this? Because this is not making any type of sense.
Well, this isn't the legislators, this is the State Board of Education right now. So this is ISB. This is ISB right now.
Oh, they're in education, right? So, I mean, were these guys were educators before. I mean, the reason I'm saying is this is, it doesn't make sense. It absolutely does not make sense.
Well, this is what the state superintendent has recommended. So we are providing them with an opportunity to make some updates to that recommendation.
What time is the dinner on the 27th? Does it say?
Usually, they haven't given us the time, but it's usually like 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's usually like about 6. They literally, we just said, I'm on the executive board, we just set the date on Friday. So, but we haven't done the time.
Yes, I have 2 questions. The first one is, do you know if we get credit for attending the scope dinner? Because some of us are master board members and we have to maintain that, and I don't know for sure if we get credit.
It's not on the list.
I don't think that's on the list.
Is that on the list?
Scope is not, it's not an IASB sponsor. It's the South Cooperative Organization for Public Education, so it's not sponsored by IASB.
Okay.
Because that award is from IASB.
The second question is, if you could please explain a little more about maintenance of effort.
The maintenance of effort. So we are required by law, if we get special ed dollars, that we have to basically match those dollars. So if we're spending a certain amount, we have to show that we are that we're matching those dollars from the federal government. So that, and if we don't do that, so let's say we spent what's $500,000 this year, and then next year we only spent $400,000. We have to show what happened? Why did we spend that amount of money this year? And it happens sometimes, like if we have a student maybe who was in a residence and we were paying for that, and then that student moved to Texas.
So what do we have to spend the money on? Because we
On
know
special education services.
Special
Early childhood, bilingual, special education services.
Okay, because I know when they say spend money, you say, okay, this is for building, everything has to be segregated.
This is mandated categorical, and the category is for special education services, and there's different pieces to that.
Thanks for the clarification.
No problem.
Any other questions? No? All right, item C, Open Meetings Act, Mr. Brazil, no report. Item B, speed, Ms. Jones.
We have not, our next meeting is not until this Thursday. No report at this time.
Item E, policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met December the 7th as we discussed at last month's meeting. However, for now, I would just like to remind the board that we have policies to be adopted later on in the agenda.
Okay, item F, village intergovernmental, Ms. Pruitt, Ms. Davenport.
That's me again, and Ms. Davenport, feel free to step in whenever. As reported at last month's meeting under the village intergovernmental, it was proposed and suggested that this board reach out to the municipality as well as the library so that we can develop an intergovernmental type agreement and just begin working on planning together for the next school year. And that was the intent. And then someone came to me, a trustee came to me and voiced concerns about the student essays, which I know that when I asked to be on village intergovernmental, I knew that I wanted to have a role with, based on my experience with student essays, to really make a difference where they're concerned. So I contacted people in the municipality, a couple of board members, Sharon, who is on the committee with me as well. And we planned a meeting for next week, but then we were told that it really needed to take place within the next day or two. So you were correct when you mentioned earlier that we hastened the planning of the meeting. So we scheduled it for Friday evening, and as you correctly stated also, basically it was just board members. It was only board members who attended. However, I did speak with one trustee the next day who thought that it was Saturday opposed to on Friday evening, for which we had agreed. But at that meeting, we looked at and we explored different strategies to ensure our student success during this year's Student Government Day, as well as going forward. And at that time, we agreed that, President, you would communicate with the school board, with the municipality tomorrow. And then we also suggested that I would write a letter with some specific items that we would want. And this is a draft of the letter, and I didn't type draft on it. So as you get it, I would really ask that you each take this moment and write draft across it, and I am watching you. And I'm going to ask, that's that teacher in me. Thank you. And if Mr. Johnson can have a copy, I would appreciate that too, because he was on that call and made recommendations. We agreed that I would present this letter to you tonight for your consideration, and if you felt that it definitely captured our conversation, then we could have it signed and then we can put it on letterhead and move it forward. So I'm going to stop talking for a couple of seconds to give you an opportunity to peruse it.
Please note that this is highly dependent upon the responses or non-responses of tomorrow's conversation.
Please note also that we agree that we would definitely share with the municipality how we feel concerning their openly disparaging statements where our students and our staff are concerned, but yet the letter would be very proactive and that it would be as positive as we can, as I said, as we look at strategies for ensuring our student successes moving forward, not just March of 2016, but going forward throughout the duration of our interaction with them. And it's just really looking at timelines that will assist the municipality do what they would want to do, but then it would also allow our students the opportunity to have faculty and or adult supervision as they complete this task, very comparable to any other competition, whether it's a statewide competition, a regional competition. Staff always assist with prepping students during competitions. And to assist our students with prepping does not mean that our staff are writing the essays and really directing. It's almost very comparable to the one that's taking place at Rickover right now with Martin Luther King. The staff have been given a task. They've been given the rubrics, and the staff members have to assist the students meet those targets prior to entering into the competition. It's the same thing that we would want when our youth present at the municipality. So I am going to, I defer to you how you would want me to handle the letter from this point on.
I have a question. You just made a statement, Mr. President, that depending on a response or not from the village, this will go forward?
No. First, depending on the response or not, we will consider. Then we will bring it back here, and we will probably have to vote on whether or not we are going to participate in Student Government Day as it's been known going forward or not. Because right now, I'm really not in favor of participation with this in the future. However, it's not my decision, it's the board's decision. So I would like, if the responses aren't correct over there, it wouldn't even be a consideration. It would just be a no.
So we may wind up having, because of the timeline, and I know in here we had some new timelines and requests of information that we got.
Yeah,
so we would have a special meeting.
Yeah, it might be a special meeting in order to get this accomplished. Yes.
This hit pretty much all the minutes. I have more minutes, but this hit the meat of it. So I'm done with my comments on government. Thank you.
Well, I agree with what you all have said. I do not want to be accused of tautology. I think that we should just wait until maybe the special meeting or next month. As far as I'm concerned, we just need to cut this off. We can have student government right here. Since I've been here, it's never been done. So we should just have it here so that we avoid all this controversy. I have 4 children in the school district. They write their essays and stuff. Not any teacher help them. They might give them idea, but they don't help them write it. But our children are there with the city government doing what they know to do, and you're putting all these children down. It's on the website and everything. I'm not going to spend all night on that, but we are not going to entertain this with them. Cut it off. They've divided this village enough. Enough is enough. Let them go.
May I please respond? I would like to go on record of stating that I am not in favor of discontinuing our involvement with Student Government Day. I think that in order for our youth to be better served in this village, it will take the entire village. Now, I said that at the Village Hall meeting last week, and I do believe that it is going to take our municipality, it's going to take our library board, it's going to take our school board to collectively work together to ensure overall student success, because our students are only with us 6 to 7 hours a day. And there's so much more time after that where they need to be engaged as well. So I love the idea of the partnership, but I'm looking forward to a more formalized partnership than what we've had in the past. So for that reason, I would not. Now, I have heard 2 board members mention that we can have our own. Well, let's keep things in perspective. When our students go out to Student Government Day, that is teaching them their civic responsibility to the community, okay? And they need to know that. I am definitely in favor of us mentoring a group of youngsters as well, as they see what a school board does and how we function to benefit them in the classroom. We can do both. But I would not want to do one in place of the other, because they both have a place. And our youngsters need to know how to conduct themselves in a boardroom such as this one, at a boardroom a little further down the street, and in the boardroom when they go even further north to the school district. We have to teach in every entity, and the only way we can do that is we, the adults who's working on behalf of them, we have to work together. We have to learn to work together. Whether people hurt our feelings or not, which they did, and I acknowledge that, and some of the responses were not very favorable, and they definitely were not timely, and they were definitely not appropriate for the setting, but you still, we have to start someplace. And if that place is helping them to understand what they did wrong, simply because sometimes people just don't know. When they get so caught up into what I think, what I feel, and not think about the good of the whole, then sometimes they do make mistakes like they did last week. I was appalled. But you can't crucify someone for making what I would only hope was a mistake in judgment. So, you know, I'm in favor of saying, yeah, you did this, and this wasn't right, and this is how we feel about it. But then, where do we go from there? How do we get past that and move forward? And I'm going to be quiet for now because I know I have taken up a lot of time.
Yes, Mr. President, I am in favor of student government. There is nothing going on in Village Hall according to the student government that we cannot do here. There's a whole lot. What are they going to teach them? To be mismanaging the way they've been doing? I know there's a whole lot of people here that have connection. You don't want to offend anybody. When you are doing wrong, I don't care if I offend you. I will say my voice. That is the way it is. We don't have, this year is election. So people know they want to run for office in the village and all that kind of stuff. You can be friends with anybody. I don't care. If you vote for me, you don't vote for me, I spend my time somewhere else. I don't have, how much do I get paid here? Mr. Basil, I don't need to be out of line, but I just have to get these out for the record.
I understand your passion, however, I want to lead by example. I don't want them to look at us and say we're retaliatory, I want them to see what leaders are supposed to act like and behave like. I understand your discontent. I feel the same way you do. Believe me, I do. However, we have to keep our composure and lead. And we need to show them how to lead. If they don't know themselves, we need to show them how to lead. And that's what we're going to do.
Mr. Bazil, you haven't heard of ISIS? You see how many bombs are we retaliating against them or not? They
Like I
do
said, I only manage my backyard.
9/11, we didn't go to war. Sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta let people know. You don't take no nonsense. You do this to me, I will bomb you. I will get right away. I drop it over there.
Thank you, Mr. Kassan. Thank you,
Yes.
Mr.
One more thing, one more thing, and it supports what you said, and that is, it's very important that we model adult conflict situations.
Yes.
And until we can learn to model adult conflict resolutions, how can we teach our children how to manage conflict situations? We have to be consistent, and I'm really finished this time.
You guys forget the issue. Hiroshima, what did they do?
Item G.
They drop a bomb over there to Japan, blow them off,
Any
because
other-
they mess with America.
Any other reports?
You're forgetting stuff.
Any other reports? No? No other reports? Thank you. Item 8, Superintendent's report.
We do have a FOIA as mandated by law. We have to report out to our board. Whenever we receive a FOIA, we did receive a FOIA request on January the 11th from a Trey Cobb of onechanceillinois.org. And it was whether or not our district had a separate gifted and talented program. And we responded to him on January 12th that we do not facilitate a separated gifted and talented program for our children. So it's completed.
All right, thank you. If you can please take a look at item number 9. And see if there are anything that you would like to remove or...
I'm hungry. Our teacher.
All right, so we can... No items want to be removed?
Philip, number 1, open minutes December 14th. I don't think I was here.
Oh, I wasn't here either.
December 28th, A, B, C, D, E.
You want to remove all
These aren't from the
Oh, no, the minutes, hello.
No, just the minutes.
Just the minutes, A and B.
Okay, so we're removing A and B.
Right, we just have
We have to just to vote for the... All right. All right, I would like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items C through I as presented.
So,
A second.
second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Green, Mrs. Howard, yes. Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Casali,
Yes.
Ms. Campbell Pruitt,
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport,
Yes.
Mr. Bazil.
Yes, motion carries. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, open meetings minutes, December 14th, 2015, public hearing / regular meeting.
I second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mrs. Howard, abstain. Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Casali,
Abstain.
For the minutes.
For A.
Oh, okay, I didn't, I thought she said Ms. Casali, no.
Yeah, she missed it.
Oh, absent.
He said abstain.
Because I didn't see myself wearing a dress.
I didn't say.
You represent your wife, so that's.
Mrs. Campbell Pruitt,
Yes.
Ms. Davenport,
Yes.
Mrs. Green, Mr. Bazil.
Yes. Motion carries. I make a motion to approve consent agenda items B, open minutes, December 28th, 2015, special meeting.
A second.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Abstain.
Ms. Calabrit?
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport?
Yes.
Thank you, that was
Mrs.
very
Green,
clear.
you're welcome. Mrs. Howard? Yes. Mr. Bizell?
Yes, motion carries. Would you like to
Can we
move?
introduce these people?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, go right on ahead.
Can I introduce?
We got some new people?
We have two new psychologists to the district. I think these are only two hires that we have here present tonight. We have Denise Dinan, if you would stand, please.
Just a little bit about myself. I'm actually a graduate of Plum Trail High School, 1989. Prairie State, Governor State University. I've been a school psych for 9 years in Illinois. I spent an additional 4 supervising about 40 diagnostic staff and missed babies. Not paid work, so I'm really looking forward to working with the kids again, getting back to some counseling, and I'm just really, really excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
And second, we have Sarah Lawson. Would you please stand?
Yes, hello. Thank you for welcoming me here tonight, and I just down about myself. I am a graduate of Marion Catholic High School, and then I went on to Eastern Illinois and Governor State University. I've been a school psychologist for 11 years. I was in Indiana for 4. The rest of my time have been in Illinois. I just want to thank everyone for being very welcoming. Everyone that I've met has been very kind, and I'm very excited to contribute to the district.
We have 3 other individuals. They're not here, but I would like to acknowledge them. Rachel Vichet, who would be the art teacher at Rickover. We have Sony Phillips, who will be the special ed 6th and 7th grade teacher at Rickover. And last but not least, Martha McCarthy, who will be our Title I reading specialist also at Rickover.
All right, we'd like to move to item 10, discussion of unfinished business and board action.
Oh, that's me again. As mentioned earlier, the policy committee met December 7th here at the administration center. And at our last meeting, we made a motion to place on the table all of these policies as a result of us needing to do a first reading. So, now that they were placed on the table, they were reviewed. Now I would like to move that we remove from the table the policies so that we can adopt the press policy revisions that took effect in October.
So you're removing these items?
Correct. It's all the way down to community, 830.
Page 2 and 3.
So I made a motion, you guys, we need a second.
Second.
Now discussion. Okay, Ms.
Mr. Casali had his hand up.
Mr. Casal.
Oh, somebody else?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to ask that, is this in accordance to the new laws that we have to comply with, or why so many of it that has to be revised?
I'm going to ask Superintendent Lee to speak to that.
So the press policy revisions include all the updates in law, and there's a lot of places we have to change from certificate to license, any changes that impact footnotes, that impact categories of what's embedded in a policy. So the press policy revisions do exactly that. They cover all the new updates in the law and any legislation that has to be adjusted, whether they're footnotes or actually in the language itself. And some of these are real simple ones, like I said, like the change from certificate to license, because that's what the law says now. No longer are there certificated people, they're licensed people. So all of these were from the October update from the press policy revision.
Okay, so these are being removed from our current policy?
No, they're being removed from the table
Okay.
and approved for our policy.
Okay.
So that our policies will be current based on the new updates.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So right now, our policies aren't current until the board approves.
Okay, gotcha. Any other questions? Okay, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Casali,
I abstain because I really don't have enough information to make the right decision on this.
Ms. Campbell Pruitt,
Yes.
Mrs. Davenport,
Yes.
Mrs. Green, Ms. Howard, yes. Mrs. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Brazil.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, item 11, discussion of new business and your action.
So this is the time of year in January when the board normally authorizes the superintendent and the chief school business official to start the development of the budget for fiscal year 17. So for example, now if you all approve this tonight, then tomorrow we meet with our principals, start looking at enrollment projections. It just gives us permission to start working on a budget.
All right.
Mr. President, I move to approve the authorization for the superintendent and chief school business officials to initiate the development of the budget for fiscal year 2016-2017.
Second. Madam Secretary, please call the roll. Any discussion? Is there any discussion?
No.
Madam Secretary.
Ms. Campbell Pruitt,
Yes.
Ms. Davenport,
Yes.
Ms. Green, Ms. Howard, yes. Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Casali,
Yes.
Mr. Brazil.
Yes, motion passes. All right, at this time, we'd like to move to item 12. Members of the general public, you will get 3 minutes apiece. Please state your name. The board does not necessarily rebut in these cases, so please keep time. No, I'll take it. All right.
Somebody.
Mr. President, my name's Ed Myers, assistant chief in this town. I'm a trustee of this town. And I probably was the one that made the initial statement about the students. I was at a meeting and Trustee States told this whole committee that, do you know we only have 14% of our students in the 8th grade can read and write at the 8th grade level. Now, I've raised 3 kids in this town. They all graduated from Bloom Trail, from Brookville, one of Bloom Trail and graduated. And 2 of them has degrees, and my youngest one's working for his now in Prairie State. I take offense to that, and I came and see if I could get some answers. And unfortunately, the superintendent was out on a conference, and I talked to the secretary. She said she would get a hold of somebody, and they would return my call. Well, I've been pretty busy fighting fires and stuff, so I came to the board meeting tonight. And the statement I made at the board meeting, which I don't understand how they got it, is that I asked Trustee Tate once again, that statement that you made at your meeting, was it true? And he said, Trustee Myers, yes, it's true. Now, once again, Mr. President, I've raised 3 kids in this town. I've been in this town for 45 years, and it's my town, and I appreciate it. I've bent over backwards, and I will continue to bend over backwards to help the school district. I'm in and out of these schools probably about as much as you guys are. But I take offense to that, and if it's not true, then yes, I 100% agree with you. Let's get a rebuttal on it and make the defense. And I go with the gentleman at the end of the table here. If a person made that, and there was a conversation carried on after that. I wasn't part of that conversation, but there was a conversation. Marvin can verify. There was a very lengthy conversation carried on that. At that point, I would be glad to sit and meet with anyone in your school board meeting, yourself, sir, superintendent, But that was my whole goal. So I take a off of my kid grew up in this town, and they still live in this town, except for my older son, and he just went over to Dyer. So, but other than that, I started it, and I'll certainly apologize. But my attempt was trying to find out if, I do remember last year, and please holler if I go near my time, last year the superintendent urged the district to do the test. And we did the test. I don't know what the outcome of it is. And I plan to come up and ask the superintendent if I can find out the outcome now. Well, but that's the whole thing with it. And I just once again apologize if I started the whole task, but as a parent and a grandparent, and my grandkids go to these schools out here, I wanted to find out. Thank you, sir. And remember.
First of all, before you start my time, can I say two things? My daughter's in the emergency room right now. She made me come here instead of take care of her. I just want you to know that, okay? Because she knew that this was a topic for tonight. And also, before you start my time, please, if I go over my 3 minutes, indulge me, because every board member except one has had a lot to say about Student Government Day. And I think I should be able to at least come back to some of your comments. So if you choose not to let me go beyond 3 minutes, I'm perfectly fine with that. I will abide by your wishes. However, Student Government Day is near and dear to my heart. Now, in starting my 3 minutes, if you don't mind, okay? First of all, when this was brought up at one of our, beg your pardon, Village Clerk Debbie Williams, proudly stating that I'm Village Clerk Debbie Williams. When this was first brought up, apparently at an intergovernmental relations meeting at our board, my daughter and I, who is Trustee Rosie Williams, who's been running Student Government Day for 10 years, is not a part of that committee, Student Government Day. When it was brought up at our village board, I was surprised to see that topic brought up at our village board. I thought it was inappropriate to be brought up at our village board. I know we have intergovernmental relations committees, but things like this don't need to be discussed in public. That I agree with. Sitting there as the clerk with no comment, I was not happy with the conversation either, so with that I do say I'm very sorry about that. I wasn't a party to it. However, once it was brought up at our village board meeting, which I felt was inappropriate, just like I feel it's inappropriate that our village board meeting is being brought up in your meeting, because some residents decided to put a petition against our board members, that was inappropriate to discuss it at your school board meeting. To make an allegation that the village stole $900,000, that's inappropriate to be brought up at your school board meeting. I could go on and on, but I've got 3 minutes. What you see on Facebook, Mr. Casali, or anybody at that board, I don't go on Facebook for that reason. I wish people happy birthday and I get off, okay, because of that very same reason. What you see on Facebook is not true. I don't go on Facebook, and I don't go to the town hall meetings, which are political and racist. So in saying all of that, okay, Student Government Day, near and dear to our heart, 40-year tradition. It was so kids could show what they can do with a piece of paper and a pen and put their thoughts together on paper. And I have saved the essays from the last several years. And I can show you where I can give you 30 or 40 essays that are exactly the same. They say exactly the same thing, almost word for word. I have them in my office. When we said, Ms. Davenport, that we wanted to come from the kids, we want what they feel. When we ask you, who do you admire the most in your life? We don't need people to tell them who they admire. And when we judge those essays, we do not judge on the content of grammatical errors. We don't even look at that. We look at what you had to say. And I didn't come here for any money, Mr. Casali, because we have over $1,000 saved from last year, because last year, after Student Government Day, people went out in the hallway and told our parents, don't go to the dinner. And who suffered because of that? Our children. We raised over $1,300 to give them the best doggone dinner they could have, and we had people out in the hallway say, don't do it. And guess what? Only one parent called us and said they wanted to come to the dinner. Well, you know what? We've still got over $1,000, and this will be a doggone good Student Government Day if our board decides to do it. Our board consists of Trustee Rosie Williams and myself and Annette Wargo from the Village Public Library. We run Student Government Day. We don't have anything to do with your test scores. We have come here several times and said, it is unfortunate when we get to children that they can't read, but we take as much time with them to where they feel comfortable when it comes time to stand up and represent our board. And by the way, we have a Student Government Day winner in the audience today, and I'd like you to get his opinion on how he felt he was treated and how much he enjoyed that program. I think it's an excellent program. And you know, every time I have this program, I don't come here to ask for money. I come here to tell you it's that time again. and how proud we are to do it. And then I come back the next board meeting after it's over and I say, God, these kids did a fantastic job. Because you know what? They're phenomenal. What we can do with them in the course of 9 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock at night, and some of you have seen it. And you've seen these kids. We've got special ed kids who come and be a part of our program. And you know what? They are phenomenal. Can I get one more minute? I've asked for a special. Well, you know what? Then I will not rebut this. I will not carry on any further like Barbara did at my meeting last week. I will sit down. But there will be a letter.
I'm going to say something. No,
this is very political.
It's not rebuttal.
We don't know.
Let's go. No, my daughter's in the emergency room. I'm not sitting here listening to this shit.
Yeah, please state your name.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Trustee Linda Washington, and I just want to say, out the gate, I have no negativity toward any of the board members or the staff members or the superintendent. The former superintendent, when Dr. Travelini was here, I had a good rapport with him. I've had a great rapport with Dr. Leak and with the current board, and I came tonight basically just to thank you all for allowing the students to get the letter about the play that we're going to be doing at Rickover. I want to also state that Neighborhood Watch is what I chair. And I have never had no problems with District 168 or District 205. Dr. Navarre, the whole staff over there, Dr. Graham, when we are out tagging to raise money for book bags, we're raising money for the students in Sauk Village, whether they go to Bloom Trail, Wagner, Strasburg, or Rickover. Neighborhood Watch that I chair, Trustee Linda Washington, we have stood at that intersection in 91-degree heat collecting money for book bags for children in this district, and only board member Tammy Jones came out there and helped us to collect money. So my sentiments are just that. I have had nothing but a good working relationship with this school board. I work for the Board of Ed myself in Harvey. I do understand the struggles of the school board members and superintendents and staff and teachers. I've been employed for School District 147 for 30 years, and I will be retiring a year from June. So I do feel your sentiments on that. And with all of that said and done, I am so excited because we have so many residents. We've had 2 local preachers. Their churches, they're coming, they're going to be in the play. We have seniors. Oh my God, it was phenomenal. The rehearsal Saturday, I saw people coming in, the different residents, interacting with the neighborhood block club captains. And we are raising this money to raise 500 book bags. This has never been done in the history that I know of from the village, from a trustee. The very first year that we did it, we raised 200 book bags. It was a great challenge and a great project. We raised 200 book bags, and they were all filled with supplies. Last year, we wanted to meet that same goal, but we exceeded it to 300 book bags. So I made a pledge this year to raise enough money for 500 book bags. That's 500 parents that have children walk into these buildings in these schools in Sauk Village with a brand new book bag and supplies with great self-esteem on the first day of school, because all of us working together made that happen. So I just wanted to stand and say I'm in support of the school. I'm in support of what you guys are doing. I don't have nothing negative to say, but it's all about the children, for real, for the Neighborhood Watch. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 13, closed session, for discussion of minutes of the meeting lawfully closed under Open Meetings Act for the purpose of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes.
So move.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We're in closed session.
My kind of cup.
You turn that light on. So to the Cadillac.
Oh, yeah. You came to me first.
You turned that one on.
And then I left.
I know. I'm looking at Kobe, you know Kobe?
Yeah, he's a manager now.
Yeah, he's the manager now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just, no, you don't have to.
Or am I right?
You are taking a motion to approve the release. It's on, just the way it is. To release a certain school.
The Board of Education would like to come back into open session, the second open session at 8:53 on January 25th, 2016. Madam Secretary, call the roll with action to be taken.
Ms. Green, Ms. Howard, yes. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Yes.
Ms. Campbell Pruitt? Yes. Ms. Davenport?
Yes.
Mr. Gazelle?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, action items to approve.
Yes. I would like to approve and release the closed minutes for May 18th, 2015 and April 20th, 2015. So I make a motion that we approve those two dates.
Second.
Second.
Madam Secretary?
Ms. Howard, yes. Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Abstain. Which one is
Mrs. Campbell Pruitt?
it? Yeah, I wasn't here.
Ms. Davenport?
Yes.
I wasn't there.
Ms. Green? Mr. Gazelle?
Yes, motion carries.
Do I need to make a motion for remain closed?
No, they're already
No.
closed. They're already closed.
And then I'd like to make a motion to approve the closed minutes of December 14th, 2015, regular meeting as presented.
So moved. Second.
Madam Secretary? Call the roll.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Casali?
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Mrs. Campbell Pruitt? Yes. Ms. Davenport?
Yes.
Ms. Green? Ms. Howard, abstain, I wasn't here as well. And Mr. Gazelle?
Yes, motion carries. Anything else? Item 26?
One thing that we missed under personnel, as we were introducing personnel,
Okay.
can we go back, just
Can
very
we
quick?
go back to, item?
Sorry, it was our fault. We have an intern in the district, Karen Harris. You know we like to give free help.
Oh,
We had an
yes.
intern last year in my office. This year Karen Harris is here. She's interning under Ms. Patterson. So you will see her around. She's been working. We have put her to work quite feverishly since she walked in the door, and we're thrilled to have her. So we just
thank
miss
you.
it.
All right, well, all said and do, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Have a good evening, everyone.
Look at that, 8:50.